We are joined by Anthony Wong with Asian Overland. Anthony is a group managing director of Asian Overland and is one of the pioneers of ecotourism, adventure tourism, responsible tourism. And I'll let Anthony tell us about what his company does.
Well, we started off with nature tours in the 70s. Ecotourism was only invented in the mid 80s. But as as whole environment changed, you know, uh, the EU law came into play in the 80s, and it was very difficult to go into adventure nature tourism. But so we had to survive and move on to when we mix outdoor nature tours with leisure tours. It became very fantastic incentive tours by the mid 80s. Again, environment change. A little part of that period, they say the incentive tour is no because it's partly bribing, people to do to more sales. So they say you must have training in to make it viable. So today we have travel with training, and it's much more effective. Then it encourages us to move into human resource training and development. So you can get away with it. But in big incentive, they have meetings. So in that area period also, by early 90s, we went into the meetings and event industry. So over the years, we have evolved basically with the changing environment and the demand of the consumer. So today we run a whole range of activities, but always focusing on where our base is, where we look at sustainable nature, eco. So today we even run big medical meetings and events, always focusing on the environment. Are we impacting on the environment? How do we leave our carbon footprint? Is it right? Are we doing the right thing? So even now we have moved into hotel development and ownership. Again, we put environment as our first case, and because of that, now we don't only look at the hotel or the operation we do. We look at the whole government policy and the local community. So we have to do things outside of our area to make sure that we get it right. So it's a lot more difficult because we have to go into policy making, we have to go into the local community, government, and other industries that affect the tourism business.
Anthony, if I am a tour operator, what would I contact you for?
Well, if you want to have quality program, you want to have creative program, you want to have a satisfied customer, or you want something different, we are a company that is always moving and evolving, and we always look at customer needs. Of course, depends where you come from, because different customer has different needs, and we cater for customers from over 100 countries.
And you service predominantly Malaysia or other Southeast Asia countries?
I service predominantly only Malaysia, because I believe you can be the best in your own country, but you cannot be best in 10 countries. So that is one of the way to compete with the big global companies. Be the best in your own country.
I suppose the answer you gave me as to what I would contact you for, if I was a tour operator, would be the same answer if I was a meeting planner.
Yes, because we have got different division where we do meetings and event, which is the meeting planner, or in Europe they call professional conference and event organizer. So we have different division looking after different market segment.
Do you operate any set itinerary programs? You used to. Do you still do that?
Yes, I do operate set itinerary program where we have weekly departures around Malaysia, because we have got FIT around the world, but we only move in small group of 6 to 8. That's all.
Give me an example of 2, 3 of your top selling itineraries, please.
A program that travel from Singapore, Malacca, Kuala Lumpur, and it moves Cameron, Penang to the East Coast, Kota Baru, Terengganu, Kuantan, and back to Kuala Lumpur. There's a 6 nights, 7 nights program. Another program we do is Kuala Lumpur, 3 nights in the national park, and 2 nights on the beach. Yeah, and another program we go Borneo, Sarawak, Kuching, 2 nights in Kuching, 2 nights in national park, and 2 nights on a beach resort. And similar program also in Borneo, you know, 2 nights in Kota Kinabalu, 2 nights up in the national park, 2 more nights in Sandakan where we watch the orangutan in the wild.
And how many cities do you have offices or operations in now?
We have in Penang, Langkawi, Kuching, and Kota Kinabalu. In Taman Negara, we stop our operation. We gave all our operation to the local guides who are helping us so that they could run their own local business. So this talking about community assistance. So if a local community is smart enough, I think we should give them to take ownership of the business, and that's the philosophy of the company.
Anthony, you're so green that if a company bought from you, they don't have to buy carbon credits. Just buying from you, they would be doing it. But anyways, in terms of customized program, I gather you still do FIT customized.
Yes. In fact, 60% of our program are FIT.
Okay.
Yeah. That's I think we're getting more FIT program than group and group travel.
And so you've been in business since the 70s, and in terms of markets, certainly European, how much Europe or South Pacific, Middle East do you do?
Now, up to 10 years ago, we were 90% European. But the last 10 years, the market of Middle East and India has emerged. Today, the Middle East and India is almost 50% of our market share.
Wow.
So 30 years in Europe and 10 years in the Asia Pacific, but the numbers has grown so much because the middle class has grown a lot in those two areas. Yeah.
Australia, did it ever was it ever a significant market for you? And did the USA ever get to that point?
Australia has always been a market, but not a very big market for us. Although we started in Australia in '73 as a student, I still do Australia. USA, we don't have so many because we find that the distance from US coming to Malaysia is a long way. To them, they have got the tropics, the Caribbean is nearby, Hawaii is nearby. If they do look at see the Asia, they go to Hong Kong, China, and to them that's Asia. So I guess it's a knowledge and understanding, and also for me to travel to the States to take a holiday, I will also look at it twice because it's a long way, 20 to 30 hours of flying time. It's tough.
Are you happy with how the tourism industry is progressing and the policies looking forward for the next few years?
I'm not sure whether you mentioned about policy locally or internationally.
In Malaysia?
I think there need to be more planning, more discussion between industry, and there's more cooperation needed between the academia, with the industry and the government to have long-term planning. And it's because of government structure, because they have to move because of promotion. So sometimes a lot of learning is lost along the way because of promotion. So sometimes it is not the people, but it's a structure of government, department.
So you're kind of saying visit Malaysia 2007 this year and whatever program next year, the year after that, that's too short-term planning. You would rather see a strategy laid out for 10 years.
I would prefer to look at strategy of 10 years, block of 10 years, because things do change in a 10 years block. Yeah, in fact, things are moving much faster because of the internet and the young generation and product life lifeline is getting shorter and shorter. So we have to change according to the situation.
So you have to be flexible. Even if you have a 10-year plan, you need to look at it and say, let's be willing to say, hey, this changed, we need to change that.
Yes, I believe so because things are moving so fast today. I think, and that's we have to accept that's the way of the current way.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks.